Hi everyone, welcome to Sue's Day. I'm Sue Ann Jafarian of the Novel RV. I am coming to you from a Walmart parking lot in Ellsworth, Maine. Stacy and I are almost finished with our long journey through the maritime provinces and down into Maine. And we're going to be doing a recap video of that very shortly. But anyway, today I was going to talk about something else, but I was in a Home Depot today looking for something very specific. I knew exactly what I needed. I knew why I needed it. I knew how to use it. And this man just wouldn't listen to me. And that has happened to me a lot in Home Depots. Are you listening, Home Depot? It happens to me a lot, where men, particularly the older workers there, just take one look at me, my age, my gray hair, and assume I know nothing. They assume I'm an ignorant dolt, and they treat me accordingly. Even if I was an ignorant dolt, there's no need to speak to me in such a condescending manner. Really, there isn't. Home Depot, send those people to some sort of remedial customer service class, please. Anyway, my encounter with that man today made me remember something I actually wanted to talk about ages ago on this video channel. And I didn't because I was afraid you all would think I was just some fat, older biatch. Well, maybe I am, but it's important. You see, a lot of us women who are on the road alone, particularly us older women, encounter a lot of condescension, particularly from older men. I know a lot of them just want to help, but sometimes they're more of a hindrance than a help. I particularly dislike it when somebody tells me I'm doing something wrong, and yet they've never ever seen the type of rig I drive in their life. They don't know how it works, why I'm doing something, and they just make assumptions based on their Class A or their mega trailer. I remember the first month or so I was on the road, I pulled into a campground. I was backing into my campsite, and the old guy in the rig next to me, a trailer, comes running over, and he says, "You're doing it all wrong. You need to back up more. You need to back up more." I had already turned off my engine. He said, "You need to back up more. You'll never reach your sewer from there." And I went, "I don't need to dump. I'm fine. I'm only here for a couple of days. I'm fine. Thank you." He said, "No, you got to hook up your sewer." And I explained to him I never hook up my sewer hose unless I'm ready to dump. I never leave it attached like people do with big rigs and trailers. I never do. And I explained that to him. Went in one ear and out the other. So before I could even get my butt out of my driver's seat, I look out the side. He has my sewer hose in his hand, and he's trying to attach it, and he's saying to me, "You've got to back up. You've got to back up." Everything I said fell on deaf ears. So by this point, I was pretty annoyed, and I just leaned out my window and said, "Get your hands off my shit." Yeah, I said that. He had it coming. Anyway, his mouth dropped open. He shoved my sewer hose back into the compartment where it belonged, and he went back to his trailer and never darkened my door again while I was there, which was probably good for both of us. I've encountered things like that often, and I know I've talked to other women who solo travel, and they do too. You know, I often have to change my light bulbs. There's just something about the ProMaster that the headlight goes out, and I can do that in a flash. Well, one time I was doing it, and people are telling me how I'm doing it wrong, this, that, and the other thing, and I'm really annoyed because I knew that person had never changed a light bulb, a headlamp bulb, in his life, and it really bothered me. And I made a snotty remark to him, and he shut up for a little bit. But another time I was changing a headlight bulb, and a man came over and he said, Do you want some help? Now see, look at the difference there. Somebody grabbing your sewer hose after you tell them to leave it alone, and somebody saying, would you like some help? And I told that man, yes, I could. If you could hold the headlight while I screw the bulb in, that would be a big assistance. Thank you. And he did. It went in easier, faster, everything was cool. But he asked me. It's the same when I'm trying to back into a difficult spot with a lot of trees. And, you know, one man came over and he said, would you like some help backing this up between the trees? And I said, I would, thank you. You know, that's the difference. He asked me. We had that backed in no time. It was a very narrow drive to the campsite with trees on either side. And he helped and he asked, and I was happy to get his help. But there are times when people they just say, you're doing this wrong, you're doing that wrong. They just make snap judgments. I've actually had one man come to me at a campground and say, look at my van and go, do you know how much one of these costs? And I looked at him and I said, well, I own one, don't I? I mean, I don't know what goes through some of these guys' minds. I was at a gas station when a man said, are you driving that alone? Well, no, my cat helps sometimes. I just wish sometimes, guys, when you approach a woman who's alone on the road, that you don't make the assumption that she doesn't know what she's doing. Most of us who have been on the road know what we're doing. I know what I'm doing day to day on this rig. The things I don't know, I get help on. I'm not shy about asking for help. But don't just assume we don't know, or we're like driving around like Mr. Magoo with no clue what we're doing. Please don't do that. It's not just annoying, it's disrespectful and it's rude. It's just the funniest thing that when you get gray hair and you walk with a little limp and you're older, people just assume that you are incompetent. And trust me, we solo women travelers are far from incompetent. Anyway, that's my rant for today. I hope you found it interesting and I hope amusing. And I'll see you next Tuesday. And I'm not sure where we'll be coming from, but it'll probably be the tie-up of our trip with Stacy. So if you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. Thank you.